Hello, and thanks for joining me at DCD Transporters. Now today we have a bit of a treat. So if you're familiar with some of our other videos, you'll know that I am a bit of a T5.1 fan. So I love a T5. I like an early T5, but I do think they hit the sweet spot with the 5.1. So today I'm going to spoil you all, and we have a very nice 5.1 sitting just the other side of the camera. And we've done quite a lot to this one, so I really do think you should hang around and watch this, because this is an amazing van. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Remember, it's free, so it's not going to cost you anything. So hit that subscribe button. Give us a like at the end of the video, and give us your feedback, because we'd love to know what you think. So today's video, we are going to do a bit more in depth. So go and grab a cup of tea. We'll roll the DCD trailer and come back and join us once you've hit that subscribe button. See you in a minute. Okay, so here we are, and that behind us is probably one of the nicest T5.1s I think we've done. It's off-road grey, which is the early predecessor to Indium grey. So you'll find off-road grey on 5s and 5.1s, I think. So definitely 5.1s, because that's what's on behind us. And I think they are on early 5s as well. But it was then replaced by Indium grey on the T6. But they are so similar that you're really splitting hairs to see what the difference is between the two. So metallic grey, it's a good start. It's a 60th anniversary one, so I believe it's from the 60th anniversary of the Transporter, so starting back in 1950, whatever it was. And yeah, so it's a celebration of that. Really lovely van, manual, 140, got quite a good base spec, twin slider, and long wheelbase, as you can probably just about see. So let's spin the camera around. We'll go through some details on the outside of the van, and then we'll take you to the really good stuff. So 5.1, as we said, it's a late model 5.1. This is off-road grey. Around the front, got some glossy black bits and bobs going on, DRLs added, red stripe in the grille, so a GTI kind of theme. It's got the splitter added on the bottom and the lower sport line sort of grille piece sort of on the bottom of the bumper. So yeah, looks really smart. And then we've added the hookup one, which is the T5.1 specific version. You can't run the other hinged version, but you can run this what they call the light version, where the badge is removable. So obviously take the badge off, pop it on your dash, and then plug your hookup in. Yeah, so much neater than having a horrible hole in the side of the van, and you'd just never know that was there. So fantastic, lovely little mod. Yeah, Sportline alloys, sidebars. As you can see, it's the 60th anniversary edition. We've got glazing going all the way down the side of the van. Fiamma awning added, which is the F43 van. Really like that. It's better, I think, than the 45, mainly because it has these nice end caps which are plastic, whereas the other one had aluminium end caps which were powder coated, and after a little while you'd get stone chips on them, and it would then start to corrode. The aluminium would degrade on the edges and lift, so the powder coated finish would start to look pretty awful. And it happened quite quickly. It normally happens after a year or so, so maybe a couple of years, and then they start looking a little bit untidy. So this is really nice, and if we look around the back of it, the profile is a little bit thinner, so it works really nice in the van. So on the end here, they have a magnetic connector for the winder. It's a bit of a shame at the minute we can't seem to get a UK specific version of this. So the winder sits at the back where it should really be at the front. So these are really a European version, but it doesn't stop them from working. They do work really well on the UK vans. So at the moment we're having to go with these as they don't have an alternative like they did for the 45s. So coming around to the back of the van, glazing again on the barn doors, spoiler added on the top, which is rather nice. Bumper protector, yeah, looking pretty swish. This side again, it's a twin slide model, so twin sliding doors, and most importantly, no holes in the bodywork because we've done that lovely hookup sort of panel on the front of the grille. So that works really nicely. So let's come round into the front of the cab. Now, you will see we've added a rather funky steering wheel, Napa leather, smooth leather on the top and on the bottom, and then perforated on the sides, which is really nice. So look at that, and a red stitch to match our GTI theme on the seats. I'll get some light on these in a moment, but yeah, let's them lovely. So to match our GTI steering wheel, we have these amazing GTI tartan seats with the Super Sport backs. So they're the wingback seats using the existing parts from the Transporter. So they've both got armrests. They are single captain seats, and if you look down there you will see that little button is the heated seat button. So they are heated as well. So that's again Napa leather with red stitching and the tartan centres. So both sides are done, so passenger and driver. So just look at that in a bit more detail as we come around here. Yeah, what an amazing seat. So we had these seats in our van and they are just exceptional. Really, really comfy, fantastic seats. So they make a lot of difference on a long journey. They are just superb. So this was originally a twin seat on the passenger side, and we swapped that out to the single. So that's going to be so much more comfortable. So here again, the armrests remain. So you can see here we've got armrests here. Yeah. Let's put them all down. So yeah, all the armrests still function. Yeah, amazing, amazing seats. They are my absolute favourite. They are so comfortable. They're just so good an upgrade. Okay. Stereo's been upgraded on this van as well. So it's got the Sony unit, very similar in style to like what the Alpine is. So it's like a floating head unit. It gives a lot more functionality than what the standard unit would have done in here. And we've also added a rear view camera with this one as well. So as you can see, other bits and bobs on the inside. It's got some glossy black trims going around the center section and the sides there. 6-speed manual gearbox. That awesome steering wheel and the upgraded stereo as well, making a really lovely difference to the cab area. So that's really, really nice. We got that. Still getting distracted by the seats because they're awesome. But yeah, now what we really want to see is beyond that door. So the red theme continues and the GTI theme goes hand in hand with that red, doesn't it? So GTIs have always had those red accents and this is no exception. So let's have a look through the inside of the van. As you can see, we've got these amazing red laminate finished cabinets, birch wood ply, the tartan cushions going around that, the awesome matching blinds, gorgeous oak been used on the table there and on the worktop. Sockets at the back there, 240 sockets, USB sockets on there with A and C USBs on them. High level cabinet with the heater control, light control and inverter control on there. You can see the sliding door with the opening window that has the blind on it as well. That splashback is obviously what holds the sockets on there, and then you've got the two drawers, the fridge, domestic fridge, the new NRX fridge, cupboard beside that, and the night heater box there. Coming around onto this side, you can see our ship deck flooring and the drawer which houses the porta potty in here. We've also got extra storage on the inside of that drawer, which you can't quite see here, but there's extra storage behind the drawer and beside the drawer for things like toilet rolls, chemical cleaners, and the winder mechanism for the awning can also get stored in there as well. So that's pretty handy. So yeah, large space and the cupboard next to the fridge. And the passenger seat rotates round as well, which I shall show you in a second. And then we've got the top is a bifold bed, but look at the space this gives you. The long wheelbase is awesome for that extra space inside the van. So let's pop the roof up so you can see all of that space. So pop tops do make all the difference. Not only have you got great standing room inside the van, which is going to really increase the comfort, you've got another bed, and you can't underestimate how much easier and nicer it makes your whole camping experience when you can just get in the van and stand up. It's absolutely fantastic, and bifold just adds the most space. Flooring in the van. So the flooring in the van is our ship deck style in an oak with the dark stripe going through, so sort of inspired by the sort of yacht type flooring that you'd get. Very nice, super hard wearing, and it's waterproof as well, so really good for in a camper. And the best thing about it as well is because all the planks are individual, if you do damage one of the planks, then we can remove that and replace it relatively easily, rather than a vinyl floor which would then need to be ripped up completely, and that's a lot of effort. So yeah, this system works really well, and of course it's creating a nice dampen to the noise from the road and of course the outside as well. So nice thick chunky flooring on there. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of the build that's in this van, and this video is going to be slightly different format to what we've done before. So we've done some videos before of our interiors, and we generally tend to show you them in sort of picture form through the video without much explanation of what's going on in there, and we just leave that for you to just look at and see. But I want to go through it with you. So this van has got a really good off-grid leisure setup. So it's got our full off-grid package, which is the 230 amp hour lithium battery with a 3000 watt inverter. So that means we can run all sorts of cool stuff. You know, most general domestic appliances will run under 3000 watts. So that's your microwaves, air fryers, induction hobs, all your TVs, video stuff, whatever you want to use, can all plug straight into the van and be used without being on grid, so without having to have hookup power. So it's completely independent in that respect. But there is no sink and no cooker in this van, which is what we're seeing as a trend. We're building a lot of vans without sinks and cookers built into them. Now, we moved away from gas quite a few years ago. We'll still do the smaller portable gas units like the CADAC and like the little portable single cylinder stove units, which are quite nice, and they're just really handy because you can just chuck them on a worktop and make a cup of tea if you want to. But large volume gas, in terms of underslung gas and big gas cylinders, when we went through COVID, both Cala and Flow and a few of the other manufacturers all decided they were going to get rid of the convenient sized gas bottles for the camping industry. Not really sure why they wanted to do that, but they did. So we lost the convenient sized bottles. So we're now back down to, say, like the camping gas, like 907s, I think they were. They still fit in a gas locker, but the thing with the gas locker is it just takes up such valuable space that we just don't like using it. So for me, there are no gas builds. We'll do a gas portable stove, but we won't do built-in gas. If we're going to put a cooker in a van, we'll either do a microwave combi, microwave with the grill and the microwave unit, or we'll do an induction cooker, so an induction hot plate on the top of the worktop. But we like leaving these worktops clear and clean, so you can do whatever you want to do on them. You can put a portable stove on them, you can put a microwave on them, you can put a coffee machine on it. The inverter and the leisure battery system in this van will run big coffee machines. So I'm talking about your nice coffee machines. We've got a nice Sage machine in the workshop, and it's nice to be able to bring that away with us when we do go away on holiday, because we like a nice proper cup of coffee for you know, waking up in the morning. It's absolutely superb. The trend for air fryers is now quite high because they are really good and they work really well, don't they? And they're quite efficient and quite quick. So you can plug an air fryer into this setup as well. So yeah, it has taken us away from like the traditional gas builds, which we were never a fan of. And again, whether you want to have a sink or a cooker in the van, you can do, but there's a lot of builds and a lot of people that just don't want to. It depends on how you're going to camp, doesn't it? So if you're going to camp at somewhere where it's got, you know, washing up facility and it's got, you know, a decent sort of array of stuff for you to use, why do you need to have a sink in the van? You might want to, but for me, unless you're going to put hot water in the van, which adds a hell of a lot of complexity and cost to putting inside a, you know, specifically a small camper, it works well in stuff like crafters and bigger vans like that, because you can then justify that hot water system because you're going to want to put a shower in there. But if you've not got that, the actual complexity of putting one into a small van, and again, like the cost of it, I think it exceeds its usability. It's just not going to be something that's worth doing. And besides, if you're going to be somebody who's going to a campsite all the time, then why don't you just go and use their nice hot water? Why don't you go and use their facilities? You're paying for it, but yet you want to make your own van into like a washing up area. It's not for me. So, like I said, a lot of our builds don't include the sink, and because of that, we have this lovely worktop that you can use for many other things other than, you know, putting a sink in there. Having a sink also means that you've got a pretty much useless space underneath it, because you've got the bowl there that we can't then put a drawer underneath it because it's too skinny, it's too shallow. But like I said, horses for courses. Some people really want a sink, in which case that's fine, we'll put one in there, but this particular van isn't. So before you comment, oh, it's not completely off-grid because it hasn't got a sink, there's other ways and means of doing that, isn't there? You know, there's loads of other ways for doing it. We have a collapsible sink that we take with us. We take water with us, so we can do off-grid washing if we need to, in terms of washing up your dishes and doing that, brushing your teeth in the evening. And obviously you can do that as well. But this one hasn't got it. So with this system in here and the solar that's on the van, this is pretty much sustainable off-grid for a good period of time. And what I mean by that is obviously you're still going to be sun specific, isn't it? So if there's no sun outside and you're camping up in Scotland at winter, then obviously it's not going to last as long as what it would do if you drove down to the Algarve in Portugal and you had continuous sunshine throughout the day. So you've still got to manage your power. You aren't on the grid. It's not going to be completely available to you if you're just going to hammer through all of that. But with 200 watt solar panels on the roof, 3000 watt inverter, and that 230 amp hour lithium battery, you're going to get a lot of power out of that. So yeah, that's plenty of potential. Charging phones, laptops, running the TV, running a coffee machine, running an induction hob. Yeah, it's all possible, and for quite extended periods of time. Like I said, even more so if you've got the sunshine, like we've had a really good summer this year. It's off-grid indefinitely. So as long as you're sensible with the power, that's it. You've got loads of scope for doing that. This has got a night heater built into it as well. We use the term night heater because generally people tend to want to put them on in the evening, so it's just a phrase, but it's an auxiliary diesel heater from Autoterm. So it's got the 3 timers built into it, as well as a ventilation function for summertime if you wanted to use it just to try and move the airflow around in the van, just to try and cool things down a little bit. And by having the pop top, that also helps lots and lots summertime by creating somewhere for that hot air to dissipate. So by opening the pop top up, you can get rid of that warm air that's been built up inside the van throughout the day. And in a tin top van, it just wouldn't have anywhere to escape to, because even opening the side windows, it's not going to give you that much airflow to get that hot air out. But pop top, as the heat rises, as you know, then you open that up and then that hot air is going to be able to escape out of the van and keep things much cooler. Blinds in the van are from Van Shades. We use the Van Shades blinds, 1, because they're really neat and they just work really well. 2, they are very efficient, so they look smart, and they're thermal as well. So they're a hexagon type format with a foil lining on the inside, so it does then create a bit of a barrier between the glass and then the inside of the van. Couple that with our insulation that we use, so it's a 4-stage insulation. So it's got sound deadening comes first, then a foam insulation with a foil backing, then a wadding, so that's your recycled plastic bottle wadding, so the sort of stuff that you'd see in most sort of interior spaces, whether it's at home or in a van. That then goes in there. That's 100mm thick. That fills up all the voids in the panels, and then of course on the top of that you've got your ply panel and then your carpeting, so that gives you the 4 stages that we put on. And it's throughout the van, so wherever we can get that. The wadding, we don't go right down to the very bottom because we want the van to ventilate and obviously use the existing drainage channels if there is any moisture in there. And the great thing about that wadding is it's moisture resistant, because it is a plastic recycled wadding. Then of course it won't hold moisture in like the old traditional sort of walls and that kind of thing, which could trap the moisture, but these don't. And by leaving that little air gap down the bottom means if there is any moisture in that panel, then it can use the factory vent panels to escape. A little detail on the roof that we've got. So as we've said, Skyline pop top with the 200 watt solar panel on there, and these are very nice because they don't have that junction box. So we can't always get those without the junction box depending on what size they are, but on this particular size of panel then we can do the hidden junction box, which works really well with the Skyline pop top, either the Aurora or the standard, on a T5 or T6. Transit's a bit more difficult, doesn't have as much overhang, so it's difficult to get the hidden cables on that one, but this one has got the hidden cables and it looks so much neater. So yeah, there's obviously fans of the rigid panels, as well as what there are the semi-flexi panels. We're a fan of the semi-flexi panels because I think they just look better, and the newer tech means that they've got good warranty and they are lasting really well. And these panels are very efficient and they're actually drawing in quite some good power out of these. Like I said, this particular one's a 200 watt, so that's really nice in terms of what sort of power that's going to harvest in the sunshine and top up your battery as well. So very, very good. Big fan of those. So like I said, let's have a look in the back of the van. So this is a barn door model. There's always a debate with whether it's barn doors or tailgate, whatever your preference. Horses for courses. Barn doors are great, you can open them in a smaller space. Tailgates are nice, they do provide a bit of shelter. If you're massively OCD, we'd have a little bit of it. I like a tailgate because of the symmetry on the back of the van. Obviously everything's centralised. It does just sit nice, it does look nice. But we've had barn door models as well and we've been very pleased with those. I think they're massively practical. You can get a canopy for the back of the barn door, which then provides you the shelter. In fact, then it's got more shelter than a tailgate if you think about it, because you've got the two sides as a windbreaker and then you put the canopy up on the top. So I don't think there's anything not to like about that. So barn doors, who cares? You know, I think either or. Yes, you could argue a tailgate looks slightly prettier, looks slightly more aesthetically pleasing. Would I really let that worry me? If it was the right van, I don't think it really matters. But like I said, yes, I do have a bit of a thing for the tailgate. So ours is a tailgate model. We were lucky that came up. So that was in the spec. But like I said, this is such a good example of a lovely 5.1. Why would you turn it down just because of the barn doors? I wouldn't. I think they're great. So like I said, they're a lot easier to operate in a smaller space as well, because the tailgate, you do have to park miles away from what's behind you to get in, whereas a barn door, you could, I mean, if we shut this one a little bit, you know, you could sort of sneak into a bit of a gap, couldn't you? You could open it just a little bit, whereas a tailgate, you're going to be trying to bend down and get in. It's not going to work as well. So yeah, I think the barn door is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, put a canopy there, got your two sides, there's a bit of a shelter, lovely. That red just pops, doesn't it? I absolutely love that. So we've gone through a bit of a detail on the cabinets and stuff, but I'll show you those again. So yeah, we've got access in there, we've got the buddy box, and we've got big pull-out drawer with storage to the right hand side. Let's get that opened. So yeah, we've got storage there, lovely good bit of storage in there. We've got a drawer on this side which sits underneath the cooker, little chopping board there hiding a little storage area for your cutlery, utensils, all that kind of thing. Access hole if you're going to run a gas cooker up on the top there. You can run the gas hose in and then have a little canister sitting in there. And if you run induction like what we do, there's a 240 socket sitting on the side there. That will then power your induction hob, which you can put on that shelf there. And that shelf is absolutely perfect for a Cadak twin or one of the other brands of twin burner cooker. I'll plonk one of them on there now so you get an idea of space and what you've got. So this is the Cadak 2 Cook 2 Pro. So they do that in the standard and the deluxe version. Very little difference between the two. Comes with a couple of hot plates on the deluxe one. So the 2 Cook 2 Pro fits in there an absolute treat. As you can see, there's loads of space either side of that. So you can get different manufacturers in there, different brands in there, and it's going to fit absolutely no problem whatsoever. And then you've got your prep area to the side. And then of course you've got everything you need to grab to help you cook in that drawer, and your other bits and bobs sitting in that storage unit, where you can have pots and pans and all your other cooking essentials. For us, that just works really well. Keeps the smell out of the van. And if you do need that cooker to be portable, well, you've got all of that space sitting on the worktop. Move it onto the worktop. If you really want to make a brew in the morning, which is absolutely fine, yeah, of course you should. If you're not using your induction inside the van, which we'd highly recommend, induction cookers are really good value now. You can get a nice induction cooker for sub £100, single plate cooker, decent quality. So I'd recommend using an induction cooker on the inside of the van. You've got the capability with this van and our builds to use the induction cookers. So why not? It's clean power, it's dry power, there's no gas, safe. Absolutely spot on. So the gas cookers work really well being outside, and of course you can take your barbecue as well, can't you? At the end of the day, like we've said before many times, we're obviously gone out camping to hopefully get outside, enjoy the weather, enjoy the view, get away from home. You know, it's like, this is not like being at home. It's like stating the obvious, I know, but it's supposed to be that outdoor experience. Now, we do get a few of the naysayers turn around and go, oh, well, you know, I bet you can't do that in the UK very often. Do you know, there's not been one time I couldn't cook outside, and we've done it all over Europe. And with the exception of if it is blowing a gale or it is absolutely chucking it down, then yes, of course, you know, you're not going to, but then go to the pub, go to a nice restaurant, support your local small businesses, support the farm shops, support all of that infrastructure that you've gone to go and enjoy. Don't just ignore it and stay in your van like a hermit. You know, go out and enjoy it. Yes, camping is supposed to be outdoors, cooking outdoors and all that kind of thing, but if you can't do it for a night, it doesn't really matter. Go out and enjoy some of the local cuisine. I think you'll appreciate it, and you'll appreciate your surroundings more for, you know, just getting involved with it. And the locals will appreciate you as well. This is a two-way thing, isn't it? We've gone and used their area, or we've gone to their neck of the woods, and if you don't contribute anything, I think that's a real shame. So there's got to be a bit of give and take in it. Yes, we want to cook outside. Yes, we want to be self-sufficient. Yes, that's the whole thing about the van. It is your own space. You can be self-sufficient. But, you know, let's go and get involved in the local communities as well. I think they've got a lot to offer, particularly like the smaller farm shops and local produce. I think that's really important. Then obviously go back and cook it, eat it, enjoy it. Lovely. But like I said, bad weather, go to the pub. So we've just popped it into bed mode. Super easy to do. Take the table out, flip the panel down, back cushions into place, and now you've got this amazing big space, 1.82 meters long. The actual usable space on the bed is nearly 1900, because you've got about 80 mil here where the cushions or your pillows can sort of overspill into. So it is an impressively big bed on a long wheelbase. That is a fantastic space there. Full width, so over 1.6 meters wide, or like I said, 1.82 long, but with a usable space of nearly 1.9 meters. That is a good night's sleep. So that with a topper, it's just going to iron out those sections there. We do recommend a topper. They are well worth having, and of course, you know, that's going to just give you that extra little bit of comfort. But what a space. Absolutely fantastic. God, I absolutely love this colour combo. It's one of my favourites. So this is the back of the cabinets, and unlike a lot of others, we've not left them exposed. So they're all tidy. We've got a lovely little door for access into the back of that cupboard. So should you need to get access while you're outside, you can. You can get whatever you need out of there, and then the rest is blanked off just to keep it nice. The fridge is vented, so it doesn't matter that it's boxed in. So we've got a nice vent coming off the back of the fridge, and everything is all lovely and closed in. I think that looks super. And of course, having that door just means you've got an extra bit of vent. I know we've got the window in the side here we can open, but that's going to get a lovely little bit of through breeze into the van, isn't it? I think that looks fantastic. Buddy box. Let's have a look at him in a little bit closer detail. So these are our cavernous cubes. Love the buddy box. Here he is. Let's have a look in there. No fixings, no visible joints. He is a lovely square space, and if you do take him out of the van still works. So you don't need to take him if you don't need to, and then of course you can then move that cushion out of the way, move the flap over, and you've got a lovely load through area. I'll show you that now. That is a fantastic bit of space. Let's show you around there. So with the buddy box out, you've now got this super load through area all the way through the van, and a lovely little access point as well if you do need to get in the van. So when you set up, camp in, got your awning out, you're enjoying life. You need to get into the van, you can do. Talking about access to the van, I do really want to show you what we've done around on the other sliding door. So let's open that up and have a look. So what do you think of this absolutely stunning T5.1 twin slider, long wheelbase? It's ticking all the boxes, isn't it? I mean, it's certainly been one of my favourites. I mean, we all know I've got a soft spot for a 5.1 anyway. So yeah, 5.1 in a great colour, in a great spec. It's a special edition 60. So, yeah, it's really up there, I think. I think it just looks absolutely amazing, and we're so chuffed with how this one's turned out. So we're now about to do the handover to the lucky customer. I think they're going to absolutely love it. And yeah, let's keep watching the videos. We really appreciate it. Do subscribe to the channel, and obviously do leave us a like if you've enjoyed watching, and give us your feedback on it as well. Would you buy a twin slider? Would you prefer a barn door over a tailgate? I don't know. It's practical, isn't it? At the end of the day, these are supposed to be practical things. Yes, we do love the form over function sometimes, but realistically we do have to have a lot of the function, otherwise these are pointless. So do let me know what you think, but we really do appreciate you watching. We appreciate every subscriber that's joined us on our little journey through converting these vans, and obviously our van and what we're up to, so that's very much appreciated. And we look forward to seeing you all in the next one. But in the meantime, do take care, and we'll see you soon. I see QC has turned up to have a little look at what we're up to. They are a funny creature. There they are, come to see what we're doing.